SEO School is open for enrollment. We're talking all about SEO School today. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a clinic management software built to help you focus on what matters most, your patients. Building rapport with your patients is important during appointments, and that can be challenging when you're also trying to take timely and detailed documentation. That's why Jane built AI Scribe to help you document important information without the manual note-taking. This feature transforms your sessions, seriously, it's amazing, into chart entries, and all you have to do is review your notes, sign the chart, and you're done. And since security is a top priority at Jane, seriously, it is so important to them. AI Scribe was built securely in-house to be fully HIPAA and PIP EDA compliant. With a tool you can trust, Jane helps you spend more time on patient care. To learn more about how Jane can help change how you feel about documentation, head to meet.jane.app/documentation to book a demo or sign up. And if you're ready to go, don't forget to use my code LEX1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. And if you're curious about AI Scribe, I highly recommend you go ahead and take a demo with Jane because I saw it in action and it is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Alrighty, podcast fam, I am recording this episode for you, and I always like to be transparent. Transparency first, always. This episode will be a shameless promotion for SEO School. SEO School is open now, so today through this Friday, and then doors will close. The details, the price is $16.97, and you can also choose to pay in 3 payments of $5.95. Whichever you choose, right? So doesn't matter to me. The course is 6 months long, so it is 3.5 months of new content, and you get 1 monthly Q&A call that is about 2 hours long. Typically, they all go 2 hours long, and it's once a month, and then access to a community throughout the entirety of SEO School. Now, shameless promo, I guess, for Lextramind as well, and like a quick business lesson. All of that stuff doesn't really matter to you, meaning you're probably like, okay, Lex, I don't really know what any of that stuff means or what value it brings to me. So let's talk about it. Let's start with just SEO School in general. So a quick little story for you. With me, it's really never that quick, but SEO School is my way of showing you that you do not need to pay for paid ads, whether they're on social media or Google, to come up and be in front of your ideal client when they search for something that they need. Now, here's the deal, right? I understand that when it comes to SEO and Google ads and word of mouth marketing, it might be a little confusing to understand, like, okay, what do I actually need to do? If I were restarting a business from scratch today, the things that I would put into place immediately would be my website, my Instagram account, and I would start maximizing SEO, especially with the way that, Instagram for in-person businesses isn't the best. And Shantae she would support that. She said it in the Instagram intensive all the time. It's more or less just like, let's get something on social media to prove you're not a serial killer. But then when it comes to SEO, you want to get started right away. So, and that's not just because I have an SEO course. I am saying as a practitioner, if I were to open a brick and mortar practice right now, I would want to go hard on SEO because the earlier that you can get started, the faster you will see results because it is strictly dependent on time. Not just your domain age, but actually how much time have you been putting effort into SEO work. The other thing that's important is the phrase, the early bird gets the worm, is actually true. So you want to be the first person in your area who is doing SEO work for the services that you're doing it for. When you are that person, when you are the person who is first, or when you're someone who ends up putting a lot of effort into SEO and people who are currently coming up first don't, if you're the person who's doing all the work, ideally you're the first person. If you're not, then maybe you're the second or the third, and you will come up second, third, first, right? It matters. So it's really tough to beat people out of positions 1 through 3 if they're also doing SEO work. So let's make you the one who's doing the work. It truly matters. I'm thinking about a client right now that I have and someone who actually went through SEO school. I'm sure both of them actually listen to my podcast, so they may know who they are, but they're in the same area. One is my client, my retainer client. The other person took SEO school, and they are both in positions 1 through 3 for a lot of keywords. So you want to be that person, because if it's just hard to beat the person who was doing the work. So be the person who does the work. Now, when it comes to SEO school, I redid the course. So back in fall of 2024, when I ended the course, I was like, I'm not running this again until it's already done. I know what I need to do. I had all of the sticking points, all the questions that came up over the first 7 rounds. I just kept hearing the same things at the same point in the course. And I was like, I need to rework this. And then I also said to myself, I want to make it so hard to fail. I want to make it so hard to not get results. I want to make it so easy to practice. And I don't want it to feel overwhelming. I don't want it to feel like a never-ending checklist. So what I did was I made sure that I took the course and made it doable. And when I reworked the entire course after the spring cohort, because I ended up launching the course last spring, because some folks who listen now, they asked me like, can you run the course? Because I know you're not running it to the fall. I know the landing page says the fall, but can you run it in the spring? I don't want to wait until fall. Enough people said yes, and then I ran it. So they were the last cohort to get SEO school at the pre-existing price. Now I've redone the entire curriculum. I'm really, really proud of it. And I'm really proud of the course companion that's coming with it. So it's a 108-page course companion. It's a book. It costs about $35 to get printed and coil bound at US Staples. And it costs, $0 to download it and fill it out digitally. It would cost even less to get it stapled should you wanted to do that instead of getting it coil bound. But I am so proud of it because it has the homework written out in the book. You're able to practice throughout the course. It has lessons that are not even related to your website. It's, implementation from what I teach that you get to just extrapolate to a pretend website, and then you get to do it for yourself. I am so proud of it. And of course, I will not say that it's not going to come without needing edits. I am fully aware that I'll probably need to make edits at some point because I already see when I printed it, I was like, oh my God, there are a couple pages without my logo on it. But some silly stuff like that, right? So I am looking forward. I'm so excited for people to use the book and just the updates in general, because I have made it super searchable. And the thing is, you'll see on all the marketing, it's 20 modules long. It's 20 modules long, but that doesn't mean it's 20 million hours of content. I just took what I used to have and added stuff, yes, but I also split it up so that it's really easy to complete and really easy to search for what you need. I know the last way that the course was laid out, it was really tough to find things if you needed something, and I didn't want that to be the case anymore. So I made it really easy to find things, super, super simple. And the other thing that I'm really pumped about adding is a fast track. So I am not the person for shortcuts. However, I am the person who understands that some people don't care about the why. And I do realize that is really backwards. So in my mind, I'm like, when we think about structure and then the function of something, we always want to understand the structure so that we understand the function, right back to anatomy and physiology. The problem with this fast track is that I am a little frustrated only because that means that people will likely do the fast track and they won't understand the meaning behind what they're doing. And that oftentimes will have people be like, why am I doing this? So I'm going to be pointing people back to be like, if you want to know why you're doing this, you need to go watch the whole course. However, I understand that results are timely. So if people want to implement fast, do things fast, go do that and then learn the why afterward. And I am totally okay with that because, hey, I also am that person for some stuff. Just tell me what buttons to push and I will go do it. That's why I love YouTube. Like, you can go learn how to do things on YouTube and it'll just tell you what buttons to push. Great. I'm happy that some people want to do that. And then if they want to learn the why, go do it. I'm excited about it. I think it's a really great thing. And I know that I was actually asked, like, can I buy the fast track separately? The answer to that is no. And it's because of what I just said. Because if I gave the fast track as a course, if you will, a separate course, it would be less information. So it's cheaper. Because I would then have to answer more questions. Whereas now I'm like, if you choose to do the fast track, know that you can get all your questions answered in the content that exists that you're skipping because you're doing the fast track. Whereas if I just sold that as a course separately for a cheaper amount of money because it's less information, and also it wouldn't be like time with me in the Q&A calls, it would essentially lead me to have more questions that are asked of me. Instead, like, if you take the fast track, it's your responsibility to then say, okay, I'll go learn the why in the modules. I just don't want to go do the why right now. So anyway, no, not selling that separately. It's all going to be together. So in order to get the fast track, the what buttons to push method, you have to be in SEO School. And as always, like, you get the updates from here on out. You will be alerted when there's course updates. I am really, really happy about everything that is now SEO School. The other thing that I want to point out, and I had mentioned it in the beginning, is the Zoom calls. So before this cohort, the Zoom Q&A calls ended up becoming a lot of teaching. And it was the teaching of the questions that are being asked. And it was always the same question. So I was actually talking to our volleyball friend the other day about this. She was like, how's the launch going? And, I was like, I should really do a better job of saying that you don't need to come to the Q&A calls. You can, absolutely. Like, I suggest it, come to the Q&A calls because you'll get the information that's not inside the course, meaning let's just say, what is the tangents that I often go on when people ask questions, and you'll be able to get feedback on your implementation. But should you choose to enroll in SEO School with the intention of never coming to the live calls, you don't have to come because all of the information is now in the course. There's no like, on the Q&A call, I ended up going on a tangent that ended up teaching you how to do SEO better. It's all in the course now. So if you come to the Q&A calls, it's simply just additive information that you already have, but like more detail around it based on questions that you're asking, not detail as in like you're missing details if you don't take the course or if you don't come to the Q&A call. So the Q&A calls are great though, because I'm able to share a screen. I'm able to look at people's stats. I'm able to give strategy. It's access to me. And based on like what's going on right now with the launch, like I know it's going to be a smaller group. So I know it's going to be even more intimate than it usually is. And when I talk about intimate, like you've probably seen my Instagram stories, like there is never more than, 12 to 15 people on these group calls. And it makes it so nice because I can really dive into each person's strategy and where they're at and the updates that they have and all the things. So it'll be the same exact thing this cohort and this go round. And I'm really pumped about that. Now, the last thing is the community group. So throughout SEO School, you also get access to a community group. Inside that group, I am in there answering questions. So it's support between the calls. I will say that it used to be marketed, if you will, as like you can ask the group, but I learned very quickly that it was mostly questions for me. And there are definitely like people who ask questions of the group that are business related. But when it comes to SEO stuff, the questions are mostly for me. So that support is 6 months long throughout the course. You can use the group or you cannot use the group, whichever you choose to do. But inside the group, it's just support between the Q&A calls where you can ask questions, get clarification, yada, yada. And I really love the group because you're able to post your blogs in there and I can go look at them and I can assess them. And I like to record Loom videos that are like walkthroughs because then, it's just nice to see video feedback and not just typed back feedback. I'm really excited for SEO School. I'm so excited for this new cohort. It's going to be so good. So I really don't want to dive into like why SEO School, why this, why that. The one thing that I want to say is I I sent over graphics to my affiliates. I have affiliates who are going to be marketing this as well. And you'll see that. Use their link if you see one. If you see someone that you trust that is sharing an affiliate link, feel free to use their link. Like, they get a kickback when someone enrolls in SEO School through their link. And I am so appreciative of everyone who is sharing SEO School with their community. So feel free to use the links that you see. I shared a graphic with them. And as I was typing this out and I was trying to figure out, because when you do a promo graphic, you have to pull out things that people are going to want to read and like why people want to see themselves in your marketing, right? So the thing is the one thing that I wanted to put on there is that it's transparency. I think one of the biggest things that I needed to, let's just say, I always operate out of is integrity, right? So I have an email written. I wrote one last Thursday for the waitlist, and I was just like, I got to tell this story. And I've told it already on the podcast before, but it's about red tape. And there is, inside my programs, I don't give you like partial information. So I think apparently there are some places, there are people who, let's just say, don't teach everything that they know in the course, and they leave stuff out so that people who take the course still have to like buy something else, or like they're not getting the complete picture. When it comes to SEO School, guys, like, I'm literally giving the exact process that I use for my paid clients. The people who pay me to do this for them simply have just decided I don't have the time or the capacity or the want to do it for myself. So when I teach SEO School, all the information that's in the course, that is the exact method that I use for my clients. That is like tried, true, tested, all the things. And that is really important to me. And I think it's important to lead with that as well, because I guess I wasn't aware of the fact that like there are enough people out there who are like, I bought a course and it didn't actually teach me how to do something. And that feels really icky to me. So I had put on the marketing stuff, like no bro marketing, like you're not going to be learning it from some marketing bro. And 2, it's all based on transparency. I'm teaching you everything that I use because that's, in my mind, that's the only way to do it. So if you just follow the method, you're going to be doing the same things that I'm doing for my clients. And again, like, I have been in programs where there's also, I shouldn't say programs. I have been in one specific program where I felt like there was a lot of red tape. It's like, you paid for this call and you came to ask these questions. And the whole time I asked questions, I was on that call, I was given the message of like, that question can't be asked here. And when I left the call, I remember thinking like, why did I even book this call? Like, this call was, I booked this to get my questions answered. And the marketing basically said like, this is a Q&A call. It's a coaching call. You can do whatever you would like in this call. And I left thinking like, I really think they need to do better when they say that you can book this call to talk about whatever, because that's not the truth. There's a lot of red tape, and that was extremely frustrating. And so for me, I'm like, the way that I run the SEO School calls, if ConvertKit and email marketing come up, we talk about it. If something comes up in relation to selling an online product, we talk about it, because all that stuff has to do with SEO as well. And, I have a person in SEO School right now, practice, who has an online business, and like, we're talking about how to promote the product that's on the website that they're selling in the blogs, but like not actually doing the product, doing an email list and like the funnel, if you will, that goes along with that, because it's all about SEO. So you won't find, the only time that I'm like, that we can't do that on this call is if it's so personalized that it takes up a lot of time on the group coaching call. And by that, I mean like, I can't spend 45 minutes teaching you how to set something up or teaching you how to do this specific thing on your personal website that everyone else can't learn from. So if other people can't learn from something that I'm doing on the Q&A call with you, I will just say like, hey, I really appreciate this question. However, this is more fitting for a personalized coaching call, not the group call. And I don't think I've had to do that yet, just because like everything is so applicable and all of the questions are typically, the heavy questions like that are typically answered in the content itself. And, with the reworked curriculum, it's definitely answered in the content itself. But again, it's just like no red tape. And I think that is important to know. It's important for me to tell you. And I want to just like stand on the hill and just be like, this program is everything you actually need. And I'm not just saying that to like bait and switch you into joining so that you then realize how you have to hire me to learn the actual method. Like, absolutely not. The soapbox. I'm like sitting here shaking my head like I cannot believe people actually do that. Okay. So with all of that being said, I told you this is going to be a shameless plug for SEO School. I will say that if you have no interest, cool. Love that for you. If you are interested, feel free to check out the sales page. I will link it in the show notes. I was going to do an entire lesson on top of this about SEO, but my biggest thing, and if you don't want to enroll in SEO School, that's cool. But my biggest thing for you to take away from this episode after listening to this, I would hope that you take away that be transparent, let people know the actual deal, and teach the things that you're giving away in your course. So if you have a course, teach the things that you want people to know. And then the red tape situation. Obviously, you can run your business however you want, but how I was always taught, and mostly, of course, it has been Shantae, because I learned pretty much everything I know about online business from her. Just be transparent. And the red tape situation, just understand, like, if someone is paying for an hour of your time, it's an hour of your time. Like, we don't have to book some special service or some special call to go over that specific thing. It's just tough. It's a tough way to run your business to have a bunch of red tape when someone actually gets on a call to ask questions. So for what it's worth. Okay, friends, that's really all I have for you today. After this week, we'll be returning to, episodes that are not about SEO. We'll be jumping out of SEO land because we've been in SEO land for about 2 months now. The podcast a little less, but definitely on my Instagram, I'm going to be jumping out of SEO and into everything else that is tech and ads and blah, 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 blah. And then I also believe I may do an episode on why I was running paid ads for an SEO course. I thought it was it's definitely something I want to talk about because it makes sense. Like, organic before paid. I've already proven my organic strategy, so I'm going to do paid. But I still want to talk about it and, go through that so you can learn and hear my thoughts behind everything, like I had mentioned that I was going to do. So we'll probably still do that one. All right, friends, I hope you have a lovely week. It's almost October. I cannot believe it. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know if you have questions about SEO School, and I will catch you next time.